Herbert von Karajan, the world-famous conductor of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, was born in Salzburg in 1908. He was a child prodigy, and by 1939 was already a conductor of some standing in Germany at the opera houses of Ulm and Aachen. In the 1950s, he emerged with an international reputation as the conductor of the Philharmonia of London, a top recording star, and later as artistic director of the Vienna State Opera. He has established his own Easter Festival at Salzburg, where he has produced Wagner's Ring Cycle and has been active in making films of musical performances for television and the cinema. His latest project is the Herbert von Karajan Foundation, a research institute and a competition for young conductors.
At what point in your life did you decide to become a conductor?
About when I was 17, and you know Dr. Baumgartner very well, the eminent conductor, musicologist in Salzburg. And one day he knew me very well and had followed all my studies, and said, you see, your musical mind and your ear is made such that you will never be content with 2 hands. You should have 10 hands, but better try to conduct. And this gave me the impact that I'm infinitely grateful to him that he brought me on the right way.
You've established this Herbert von Karajan Foundation in Berlin. It's a sort of competition for conductors, isn't it?
Yes, you see, the idea to make this foundation, by the way, which is in Berlin for Germany and in Salzburg for Austria, because every country has its own, and we are planning now to do one in America and in Paris. You see, the whole idea for this foundation came just to me because I wanted to give back so many things which music has enriched my life, and to give away the experience I've gained to help young people and so forth. Now, this foundation has many, so to say, directions.
What's the idea behind the foundation?
It started with the question, what do we know about music? Hearing. What do we know about physiological effects and psychophysical effects? And apparently, and I studied a great deal of the literature, we know very little of the actual process of hearing and how the hearing transforms himself in the mind to give you the impression which we generally have when we hear music. So the first thing was first to establish let's say the rules along which a musical mind takes it up and transforms it from a sound wave into an artistic impression. We held a symposium, and it was the first for this foundation at the end of the Easter Festival in Salzburg. This was to, let's say, cover the ground for a special committee which is formed of eminent doctors, and to see in which way their research has to go. I presented to this committee a test which I had made 2 days before. I was equipped with all the equipment that the astronauts carry in their module when they go to the moon, and we took the tests in the last 20 minutes of Siegfried general rehearsal. You see, the music started, which is generally known, the Siegfried Idyll, until the end. Now, it's quite clear there's no public. Why should you be nervous? It starts with a very gentle movement, with a very easy attack, and everything like this. Do you know that 3 seconds before starting the music, my pulse went up from 72 to 150, and the blood pressure, which is normally 130, to 185. We found out, and all the doctors agreed on one thing, that the energetic, let's say, effort in conducting is nothing compared with emotional. And maybe it's the explanation that two of my colleagues who died during conducting, one was Fritz Lehmann, and the last one, Keilbert, died in a piece of music which has nothing to do with tension. It was with Calvert in the third act of Tristan, when everything was quiet and long pauses, and this is where you are really very tense. So, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we now go on with those research work and broaden it and enlarge it. There is another one, and it is how do we educate young people to hear music, to absorb music, and what does it mean to them? Certainly you will agree with me that from all the deficiencies in teaching, music teaching is probably the one which is mostly bad from all. It's the same old 60-year-old piano teacher who just imposes a wrong rhythm, a wrong phrasing, and this on the music of Bach, so that all children are spoiled for the rest of their life hearing Bach's music. I have seen it with the two daughters. It's really, and I think this will come more or less when this new electronic visual recording you have certainly heard. I have seen it in America, and it's highly interesting. It's to briefly to say what it is a box which you put on the television set, you plug it in, and you have a reel which plays 1 hour of music and a picture in color, beautiful the color, and of course an undisturbed. In short, it will be an optical record. It's out now, and it will be used first for the education. And I think it will give one of the greatest revolution in human information, because you can do anything. And that's why we are now very busy on preparing a great repertoire on films. This is a thing which has taken very much of my time, and as I know that you are the passionate follower of television and music, film, television, and I must say I was very impressed of the bits you showed me yesterday from Peter Grimes. I'm quite sure it will be a huge success, and it was interesting to see that you follow now another line. Maybe I'm doing the contrary, but it is interesting that people who think about it, and they just have to express themselves on their way of expression, and maybe there will be 6 or 7 schools, so to say, of what you want to show public, to broaden up their mind and to enlarge their knowledge. You see, the nicest critic about one of my music films came from a man who just by chance got me on the telephone, and he said, Mr. von Karajan, yesterday I have never heard so well done the 5th symphony. I said, now do we talk about the same thing? It was a television. Yes, he said, yes, it was on television. I have never heard it so well. So it gave me a sort of justification that by seeing, the hearing is enriched.
Yes, I believe this is so. I mean, this is why we're all working in television or in films and so on. Of course, we ought to clarify a little bit the differences between the systems we're using.
Yes.
You use what in technical parlance is called the playback system. That is to say, you record, I believe, the music first, and then you put the picture to it, which some people think is an artificial way of doing it.
But I must say one thing, it is not what we do. We have a sort of a pilot track, only to guide us in the right tempo. What we do, we record actually on film, and we play. And also plays with all the effort. A singer sings really. It's only to get him into the right tempo. I can understand it's a different thing when he makes believe that he plays to give music. But you see, these loudspeakers we have, they make a hell of a noise in it. And so they have to take an enormous effort to get on their own sound into the picture. I hope to be able once to present the Ninth Symphony, which I have done under my own direction for the public in some sort of film or thing. And then I think one will see this and one will see another system. And at the end, they will come to maybe to one result, close or closely to this. It is a new ground and it must be covered and experienced.
You said you directed the Ninth Symphony, meaning presumably that you directed the photography or the cameras as well as conducting the music. Do you think it's essential that the conductor should do this? In other words, he's the only person who can really visualize the music.
Yes.
And
yes.
only he
Yes.
can, in fact, direct the cameras.
It takes very much time. It's about 3 months preparation just to make the script. But I feel, and it's more or less the same in opera, when it's done, you get a satisfaction which you never could have from a sort of a divided job, because it will always go or against the music or against your feeling. I mean, find a man who sings, hears and sees just in the same manner as you can. I haven't found him.